Welcome back, everybody. This is WNF Podcast, or We're Not Friends Podcast. I'm Jean.
And I'm Lauren. Sorry, my hard kombucha did a little explosion over here.
What kind of hard kombucha is that?
Grapefruit. Flying Embers, my favorite. This is not sponsored, but please sponsor me.
Yeah, I think our intention now is at this point, if we could chase sponsors to the point of like literally begging out for
Nobody
them.
wants to sponsor us, Sean. We have no fucking followers. Nice try. I don't even say that.
Soon enough.
Yeah, I have no goals. I just drink it because I like it.
Yeah. Well, I'm rocking the Oklahoma City Thunder gear, and the reason for that is they are 2-2 in the series against the Houston Rockets. Former team member Russell Westbrook and James Harden, 2-2 in the series is pretty fucking good for Oklahoma City, considering majority of their players have left them in the past 5 years, especially their star players. But I have to say I do respect the fact that the NBA teams in the playoffs have essentially stand together to say they're going to stop playing and stop games until they see some justice and police brutality. But I did hear they are going to pick a date to get the games back going. So I think this was a pause for probably a week or two. It's sad that we're still hearing terrible stories in the news, and I wish the facts were a lot cleaner and that we could all agree on a certain situation and be able to take a report and be able to all agree that, okay, here's the events that occurred, and decide as a nation whether or not there's something that needs to be changed. Because right now we're still at that point where we're not agreeing to things, and it's sad to say, but I don't want to get too off tangent into that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get what we're not agreeing on things. There's not really anything to agree upon. People, it should be a given. Cops aren't the judge and the jury and the executioner. They do not have the right to treat people like this, to make assumptions and be overly reactive. Like, I don't understand what's so hard to get about this for especially the people that really don't, that are doing the Blue Lives Matter thing. A lot of those people are the same people complaining about getting their freedom taken away by wearing a mask. Why would you give all of your freedoms over to the police, especially for those folks that, are people of color and don't have a chance like maybe somebody like me as a white woman would have?
Yeah.
But I don't understand why it's so hard to understand what you're giving over to these cops. It's like they're giving them the ultimate power to do whatever the fuck they want and not be held accountable. And unfortunately, the minority groups are getting the brunt of it.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. So I don't know, man. It's not really something to agree upon. It's just like, this should not be fucking happening.
Yeah.
End of story, period.
Yeah, I agree. And guys, before we kind of continue on this, the way Lauren and I set up the show is that we'll typically pick a series of topics, and then we'll make our best attempt to line them up to the way that we want to talk about them in order, and then we'll go about it. And the first portion of it, we typically try to be as just organic and whatever's in the top of our mind in that moment, just try to talk. And it's funny because we actually have been talking about wanting to be a little less political, and also be a little less negative to a lot of the topics that we discuss on the show, because we want it to be upbeat, because that's our personalities are really pretty positive. We're not typically...
not mine, according to most of the world. Everybody thinks I'm an angry bitch. So, god damn, like, what a double standard. Okay, yeah, that one's on the top of my mind. Like, what a double standard. A woman is expressive about her opinion.
So why do you say that?
Says cuss words, and I'm a fucking angry person because of it? Jesus, I'm not an angry person. I'm an incredibly happy, positive person. I'm a realist.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking realist, so...
You're an analytical, intelligent person. Yeah.
I don't know why I get that double standard.
So tell me why specifically you're saying.
You enlighten the people.
So I think what you're alluding to is some feedback that we got that essentially said that, you seemed quite angry, and
in all the episodes.
yeah, which is clearly, if anybody who's watched clearly knows that that's not true.
I don't know. I mean, listen, man.
I said, in order for us to be able to get a clean feedback that's honest, I just got to take what that individual gave to me and just got to take that back to you and I, but clearly that individual skipped around and probably hit into maybe some more passionate portions of the show.
Maybe not clearly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm aware of how I come across to certain people. And I just want to point out, like, I'm not against feedback. I'm not against that at all. People read me the wrong way. And I don't give a shit. I just don't. I don't care. I know who I am. I know I'm not an angry person, but I know I'm a very expressive person and I'm a very opinionated person.
Yeah.
And so as a female, if however I am speaking comes across that way, kind of irritates the shit out of me because I think it is a double standard, but that's fine. That's fine. That's somebody's prerogative to give that feedback, and that's fine. I appreciate feedback.
Yeah.
Does it change the way I speak? No.
Yeah, and it would be foolish for me not to say that there isn't a double standard because I know that there is. You know what I mean? We know the
This is not the first time I've gotten this feedback, Sean.
Right.
You know that.
Right. There is an age-old tale of the more dominant, upfront woman, and that she will be called a bitch. And then for the guy,
I've gotten it plenty of times.
And for the guy, if he's more dominant and upfront, he's called an alpha. I
have been called a C word many times, and I'm like, whoa, by strangers.
Yeah.
Just for being like, hey man,
it sucks.
We don't need to. I have a husband. Thanks so much for the offer of a drink. That's really nice, but I'm just trying to hang out with my friends. And then it always escalates, like, you stupid C word. I'm like, what?
Damn.
How did I get this?
It's fucked up.
I don't care. This is me. I love who I am, and I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want.
Good.
So, life has been pretty stressful in the past 2 months, like over the top with my work, and it's getting to a pretty rough point for me where I'm like working 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. kind of days nonstop. Literally go to the bathroom at like my lunch time because I'm sitting on calls, and that's me being terrible. Late to calls. It's horrible. So I'm like hitting kind of a point where I'm over this shit, but something that has been very relaxing for me and for Jean, and honestly just cathartic. We've been watching HGTV. We started on Hulu. Okay, so I don't know if Hulu just knew, like, it's a trying time. They should start watching this. But we were advertised My Caribbean Life, and we got pretty deep into that.
The weird coincidence of it all is about like a month ago, we were beginning our Friday evening, and we were beginning to have some drinks, and we started discussing, at what point do we just say, fuck it, let's just, go overseas, or let's do something crazy, and let's live somewhere just to give it a shot, somewhere that we absolutely love. No, I know, out of the ordinary, something out of ordinary, and just say, let's go do that. And so we had discussed it, literally took a shot over it, and then said, let's put a timeline on it, maybe like a
5
year.
years.
Yeah, 5 years. I think, like we said, 2 or 3 years we'd go and actually start assessing those locations.
Yes, I get a sabbatical at my job where I get a month off, and people typically take 6 weeks.
So that discussion occurs, and then we start seeing the recommendations on Hulu.
My Caribbean Life, a lot of shitty build outs, but beautiful beaches and locations. And then we were already sold, and like Sean had mentioned, we were planning on going and spending my sabbatical in Italy and possibly exploring the idea of living in Florence, because that place is very special to us both. But then we got advertised My Mediterranean Life, and our plans have gone next level, guys. Okay, we've gone to Spain on the show. Well, we have been to Spain, but in the show we go to Spain, Croatia, Crete, Malta.
Yep.
Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Where else?
I think that's it. There's been a couple where they've like bounced back over to those. Oh, south of France.
In the south of France, which was very expensive. And Jean and I are pretty sold now that, I don't know, we're Spain people, man. That, what is that coast called?
I'm not even going to say it. So I'm not going to say it because of the fact that I literally, to this point, I have been most pleased with that area.
I know.
That if any of you fuckers looked at this place, you guys would be like, yeah, fuck yeah, we get what you're saying.
I'm not even gonna say.
I'm literally keeping that to us.
We're not gonna say the town.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep it to ourselves, because if anybody ruins it,
fuck you guys.
It'll probably.
yeah.
I don't know. John and I will be devastated for the rest of our lives. We'll be like, remember when we had those grand dreams of moving to Spain? I mean, it's amazing though. I find it so, like, seriously, when I have a stressful day and I still have kept up with my workouts. So I'll like work out and eat dinner and be like, oh. Sean's like, what do you want to watch? You want to watch a show? I'm like, My Mediterranean Life, please. It's going to be so relaxing for me. It's amazing. These people, except for like, I think south of France and maybe, was it Croatia that was a little pricey? One spot in Croatia was a little pricey. The other episode in a different area was not as bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was like one on the mainland.
Malta. Malta was Malta wasn't overpriced. It was just kind of small.
Yeah.
I guess he got an apartment for like $1,500-$1,600, but it didn't look great.
Not bad though.
But it was beautiful scenery. But these people, I mean, we literally watched somebody in Spain get a 3-bedroom, 3-bath townhome with like 2 big ass not a veranda, balconies, but like the big kinds.
Yeah.
And they were right in the middle of town, 5-minute walk to the beach. Like, these assholes literally packed a picnic after they moved in and walked down to the beach, and they filmed them. We're like, no, but they got this place for $900.
Yeah.
$900.
Yeah, it's rough to watch that shit because of the fact that the places that they look at are so beautiful, and it's sometimes like,
and the paella.
Yeah, half the price or a third of what we pay. And so,
oh yeah, you guys don't want to know what we pay in rent. It'll make you cry.
Yeah,
it made me cry.
It's unfortunately it's typical Scottsdale prices, which is brutal. So,
and Phoenix prices. Phoenix isn't that much cheaper than what we pay here.
That's true. Yeah. But it's funny because as we're watching it, we're sitting here making our judgments on what we would choose between the typical like 3 options that they'll go through. And I've had a former colleague of mine who had a girlfriend that was on that show, and they told me the format of it. And I don't know if you guys know this, but what they do is that they go out and find people who have already purchased a place in that town that they are moving to. So, for example, this one, I believe, specifically was to move to Dallas. And so they were doing a show about homes around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And they had already committed a purchase to that place. And so what they did was they toured 2 other places and then threw that one into the mix before they moved in. So it looked empty. And so they acted as if it was like a whole thing about them, you know, picking and choosing about the places and the pros and cons.
Right,
and all that.
but they choose the place that they already...
well, of course, because it's already fucking a done deal.
What if they were like, fuck,
these
places are better?
Well, we say, like, a lot of times. Like,
I know, when they pick the shitty place, we're like, oh, man.
That means that those sucks. 2 were either not fucking there, or, like, maybe they had, like, another realtor specifically for the show or something like that, and they were probably like, fucking kidding me? Are you joking? Was that available around the same price range with the same things and better and, you know, all that? I would be so fucking angry.
I know, but man, these people, some people move with their kids. It was funny because
you're talking about overseas.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So people
back
move
to
with their
Mediterranean
kids.
life.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about Dallas. Mediterranean life, like a lot of people are like, oh, we just packed 3 suitcases, and then I remember the people going to France, and they had like I think 2 or 3 children. A dog, at least 1 dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, oh yeah, we packed 20 suitcases.
They said they sold everything, right?
No, they rented they rented their place in Colorado.
Oh,
and then it showed
that's right.
a driveway full of suitcases. So it was a little different vibe than everybody else.
Yeah.
They also paid like over $1 million for their place.
That's true. But that was like the first over $1 million one. In fact, that may
everything else was inexpensive for the most part.
Like sub 500s, I think, for the most part.
Somebody in Greece, I think, paid outside of Athens, paid like $2,200 in rent a month.
Right.
22, 23, which was pricey because, like I said, Spain, $900. All the sangria and paella that your little heart desires. Fabrizio
fucking mention it anymore.
Could be a little Spanish puppy.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's great, but it's very highly recommend if you guys want to fantasize about doing something different with your life. Like Jean and I don't have any children, and we've said this for years. Like we have always said that we were gonna just move out of the country because I've visited a lot of different countries now at this point in my life, but I haven't lived anywhere else. So Jean has, but I would like the experience. And what's the point of not having kids and making good money? #dink, dual income, no kids.
That's right.
But what's the point of doing that if you don't like enjoy it? I don't want to be old and then get to enjoy my life. Like that's so depressing. Mad props to those people that do get to enjoy their life regardless, young or old, but that's just not what I want my future to be. Yeah.
So moral of the story, go fucking fantasize and dream about, changing locations, because if there's any fucking time to do it, guys, it's now.
It's now. I mean, hey, when we met, we were like, let's get out of Oklahoma. Let's do it.
We did it ASAP.
And we did it. We took risk, and here we are, 11 years later.
Yep.
Your angry wife and all.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers to our future Mediterranean life.
Don't fucking tease me.
So something that made me kind of wish that I was already moving to the Med this week. Everybody by now, I'm sure, like we had mentioned before, has read about what happened to Jacob Blake. Probably very well aware of, people marching and protesting, and what's been going on this week with the 17-year-old who shot and killed 2 people and injured 1. We're not going to say this man's name, this boy's name. We don't want to speak it. So,
yeah, I think this is really important in the case that other individuals treat this individual as a martyr, even though he's just arrested. He's not dead, but he very much could be used as a martyr in the future. And the last thing I want to do is be able to give him grace of putting his name out there to however few or many followers we do have or don't have.
Right. So, people are idolizing this shithead.
Yeah, they are idolizing him. Yeah.
That's horrible.
That's a reality.
It's like this weird militia, scary bullshit that's going on in the U.S. right now.
Yeah.
Where people, extremists, are thinking that they need to go out and protect the streets, protect government buildings, protect the people from BLM.
Yeah. It's
disturbing.
It is disturbing. I hate to generalize anything, but being from Oklahoma, there seems to be a large group of people who do truly believe in that militia type movement.
Right. And I just want to call out really quickly before you continue on that, because we've totally dissed Oklahoma in the past, but we do recognize there's a lot of people there that have like-minded ideals as us, who support BLM, who don't support this type of behavior with these militia.
Yeah, they just had a beautiful solidarity march in Oklahoma City, and it was, in commemoration of the Martin Luther King Jr. I Had a Dream speech where he marched in D.C. So that's what that was, and it was beautiful. I saw there was a good group of people. I saw they organized it very well. But what I'm trying to get to in saying that, we are from Oklahoma. We have a lot of acquaintances and friends and family in Oklahoma, and being able to observe that and observe their point of view in Facebook posts or comments, it seems to be individuals that are not of the urban communities. These are individuals primarily that are of suburban communities. And that, I think, really skews the fact that they don't understand the plight or the situation, or they just are so into their own bubble and echo chambers of their type of news that really kind of focuses it in on minimizing the Black Lives Matter movement and sometimes demonizing it.
A lot of the times, demonizing it. I would say most of the time.
And so a lot of these individuals will literally drive 30 minutes or more into the urban density communities where majority of these marches will happen, and they will go and create a counter protest. And even for something as beautiful as the March for Solidarity in memory of Martin Luther King Jr., they will actually go and set up events against that. So that which is outrageous, right? Like, you wouldn't think that like there would be a big group of that, but it's actually very mainstream.
Well, it's antagonistic. They're looking for trouble.
Yeah.
They want people to fuck with them so they can use it as an excuse to yell, fight back. They're looking, I think, for a fight. I think we've seen a lot of, honestly, I've told Sean this, and I'm used to this stuff. Like, I used to be conservative. I was raised conservative. I will be more than open with my ideals. Were pretty close-minded when I was younger. I just didn't know, right? I didn't know. But as I got older and had more exposure to the world, I am now very liberal and just open-minded in my ideals. But these people are posting the most hateful and honestly just scary memes. And I'm used to this stuff, but this is like next level hatred. It's like in their bones, and it's scary to see. They are believing that this is a civil war that's going to happen between BLM, Antifa, and then everybody else.
Right. And
they are truly scaring me, I think, with some of this nonsense where they don't see a 17-year-old boy shot a couple of people, and they're making him basically like a hero, an idol for their movement.
Yeah. And for anybody who isn't aware of the situation, this 17-year-old decided to drive out of his community 30 minutes out to Kenosha, Wisconsin, an area that he is not from. And he went out in front of a shop owner's place of business, stood there with a gun, and was with other individuals doing the same thing. And it was with in his mind, the wholeheartedly good intention of protecting that business, even though he doesn't know it, the business owner. Even the business owner even said that I don't even know who this individual even is, so I don't know why he was standing in front of my business. And from the reports, and again, I don't take this all with a grain of salt. You should all look at your own, read up on this. But from the reports and eyewitness reports, multiple accounts, both on even the conservative and the liberal side, they are stating that this individual, he either discharged his gun on accident while he was standing in front of that shop, or out of frustration, discharged his gun. it hit someone in their head. So that bullet flew out, hit them in their head, and from that, he ran because he was scared. And instead of putting down his weapon and taking ownership of the situation, he ran away. There were several other individuals that chased him down, tried to take his gun away from him, even hit him with a skateboard to try to take his gun away from him. And then he shot at those 2 individuals.
One died and the other, I think, has injured.
Exactly, yeah. So, like I said, guys, please do read up on it.
But the things that are being posted about this kid, I've read comments like, oh, yeah, it's about time somebody did something against these people. This is what happens when you get, fed up with the bullshit that's going on. And it's very disturbing, but it's just been not a great week reading things on social media. The little time that I have, I've tried to stay off of it because it's like I have a pit in my stomach, and I gotta tell you, I've deleted a lot of acquaintances on social media over the past couple of months. And this was just like, whoa, this is next level hate. And I'm deeply disturbed.
Yeah, I am too. And to me, this shows the whole Patriot militia idea. To me, it definitely gives me an idea of a lot of these individuals don't understand the real consequence of mass conflict in an urban environment, and going out with weapons could stir and antagonize individuals who are already in a sensitive emotional state because of just the situation at hand in the nation right now. And with that lack of consequence and knowledge of what's happening, they're going to continue to do things like this. Yeah. And unfortunately, more people are going to get hurt. And I hope, that at some point we all get on the same page and we understand that there are consequences to these actions. This isn't a game. This isn't play military. This isn't go out and put on your gun and feel like you're saving the nation. This is real shit. Real people are going to get hurt.
And why don't you just try to see it from these people's side that are suffering, that you yourself can't relate to? Like, just take a moment and step back. It's the core issue, if we would fix our issues that are going on with the police department and stop discriminating and mistreating Black people, then maybe we would be in a better place.
Yeah, agreed. Really sad news. Friday evening, Chadwick Boseman, who is most famous for his roles as Jackie Robinson, playing Jackie Robinson in the movie, I believe it was 42, I believe was the movie for Jackie Robinson's Number. And
Panther.
Of course, Black Panther.
Wakanda Forever. He was so good. So
good, and such a great actor. He had kept to himself and kept it very private that he was dealing with a 4-year colon cancer. And he just was trying to battle it, really kept it to himself, continued to work with charities as well.
Through rounds of chemotherapy.
Yeah.
And hospitalizations, he was working.
Yeah.
That is mind-blowing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he lost that battle, and he died on Friday.
So sad.
So sad. He was,
42?
early 40s. Yeah, 42, I believe. And just so sad. And, 43. He was 43. Guys, just a reminder to everybody. You don't know what people are fucking dealing with.
No.
Like the fact that this guy was dealing with colon cancer for 4 years.
And was still out working, going to support charities.
Yeah.
Being amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that is, that's fucking sad, man.
It is sad. And I hope he and his family or I hope his family are taking time for themselves to really reflect on, the happiness that he brought to a lot of individuals, particularly in the Black community. He created a hero in the Black community that they were truly seeking. You know, they wanted that superhero that looked like them, and you know, and they got it with Black Panther. He was such a great representation.
Well, I think he was in that movie, he represented a really powerful, inspiring king that was loved by the people, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really, really awesome. I loved that movie when it came out. I thought it was awesome. I'm super stoked that somebody could have a chance to really be a part of such a big, powerful movie before they pass. And he was such a iconic actor in that. Yeah. And others. But
so our thoughts are
life is short.
Yeah. Life is short. Our thoughts are with his family. Let's all, you know, keep this as a reminder to everyone that you don't know what anybody is dealing with, you know, on their own or in their personal life. So maybe keep that in mind as we go through these tougher times. So Elon Musk, yet again, has come out with a crazy fucking invention that, you know, a lot of people have been talking about for several years. And this one deals with not your vehicle, not, you know, space, not your roof. It deals with your fucking brain. And this is Neuralink. And he gave a real trial, I guess, live on Friday. And
on a pig.
Yeah. And right. I mean, we're not big fans of animal testing on that side. That's not great news. But to get into just an idea of what it is, the brain has two major portions of it that communicate back and forth whenever you're making a decision. So they scanned brains and they can see that that's happening, that action. And so what this does is it allows you to be able to fire off neurons much faster in order to reach decisions quicker. And the initial primary use is very much going to be toward people with a handicap. And so that will be the first. Then it will lead to an enhancement.
But elaborate
for
on
anyone
that.
Else. Sure.
I believe he was talking about spinal injuries, people with missing limbs.
That's correct. Yeah.
So the whole point of it is that with this Neuralink, it's going to be able to communicate. If you think something, it's going to be able to communicate to those different parts of your body.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking amazing, right? But here's the price that you have to pay. The price you pay for that is having I think it's like a coin size drilled cork out of your skull, and then this thing fits into it. And so the crazy thing is, initially this thing was a like 2 or 3, and it was like a 3-part deal where it actually was drilled into your head and then 2 dangling things that would sit essentially near your ears, kind of behind your temples. That's now, he released on Friday, that's now just one small piece, and it'll have a small chip kind of dangling toward at the backside. And so that will fit, he said, seamless against your skull. So it'll cork out the piece of skull that's needed, and then it'll place this piece in. And when he had it in his hands, it was very small in comparison to his palm. So it was very, very small.
But does he just have really big hands?
I don't know. But I don't know. I think if everybody from like 20 years ago was saying that we'd be walking around holding this fucking thing and not being able to exist with this fucking thing and staring at it all day long and literally feeling like you're missing a limb whenever you've left this behind, because I've fucking left this behind before and it felt fucking weird.
Yeah, I know. We literally go down the street for something and we have to drive back for your fucking phone.
No, I've literally left it at a gas station. We said, fuck it. And we left it there for like 3 days. And
I'm going to remind you of that.
And actually, you know what? When I did that, I felt pretty fucking great that I had to have my phone on me.
Great. So then the next time you make me turn around for your phone, I'm going to tell you that story and tell you how great you felt.
Perfect.
So back to the Neuralink. Yeah. First of all, I don't want anybody fucking with my brain. Man, I get real sicked out when I see brain surgery. And then I always talk about the just how amazing that doctor has to be. And then I always go into like a deep dive of imagine how scheduled your life would have to be. You're a brain surgeon. Like one wrong move will fuck up so many things. So imagine guys shouldn't be going out drinking with their buddies at a casual dinner the night before, getting lack of sleep. Like they're probably to such, I hope that they're on a rigorous schedule that helps them function the same way every day. Because you don't want an off day as a brain surgeon.
No.
Like, dude, hard pass. I would be, if I was getting my brain operated on and that guy looked remotely hungover or ill or like he didn't get a good night's sleep, I'd be like, hey man, I'm really fine with you rescheduling this. Like, I don't need you to drill a hole in my brain after a night out with your buddies.
Well, you know what? Brain surgeons are normal people too. So
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It gives you real.
I know they're normal people.
Gives you real pause for anything like this.
And this is their 9 to 5. This is their normal job. So I'm sure they could do it with their eyes closed, but that doesn't make me feel any better.
I agree. You know, and it'll be something to where, you know, I don't know if 5-10 years from now we'll all say, well, fuck, you kind of have to have it now.
But you didn't talk about the benefits.
So some of the benefits on it are going to be that your decision-making skills will be enhanced. And then there are some crazier. He's not alluding to like that's as definitive as he's gotten. And then he gets really, and then Elon Musk gets very like futurism whenever he talks about some of the other benefits. And some of the other benefits he was saying is, you know, we'll be able to fully control all of our electronics through this. We'll be able to, you know, learn certain skills maybe through this. Talking some Matrix type shit is what he's describing. That I think is a little far-fetched. And I think, you know, eventually maybe we may get to that point, but not as quick as like 10 years. I think he's just as off as some of his timelines. And then he went as crazy as saying, and this is something he said on Joe Rogan, he said, at a certain point, we will no longer need language because of the fact that we will be able to speak to one another through some form of telepathy through these types of chips. So
this was when he was high on Joe Rogan?
No, this was the last time he was on Joe Rogan,
okay.
And he learned his lesson. But
I think that's...
Yeah. So I think he's, once again, shooting for Mars and going to land somewhere, you know, between here and Mars. But
yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, the quality control on Teslas are, it's dog shit. So
yeah,
you better have better quality control with a brain chip.
I agree.
Like,
yeah,
it's not going to be great if my chip malfunctions because you tried to shoot for the moon and you were a little too lofty with your goals, so you rushed manufacturing. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, that is scary.
But one question. Would you take the red one or the blue one?
Yeah, we'll see how this all turns out. But in about 5 to 10 years, this right here may be used just like the Katie Couric and Bryant Gumbel thing, where they're staring at each other on the couch on the Today Show and saying, Internet, why would you want to all be connected to each other? That's ridiculous. That's why would everybody be staring at a screen of any kind and doing things online? So that sounds ridiculous, right? That was only 25 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you this. If I am going to have to make money so I can go live in the Mediterranean for the rest of my life, I will probably get the chip to make me still have a competitive advantage against others.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part. If other people are getting the chip, I can't really fail at work, so guess I'll be getting the chip.
He hasn't released the price either. So that's the thing that, you know, with the Model 3, I'm sitting here imagining he was out there saying that it was going to be $35,000 and then it ended up being like $55,000 to $65,000. So the price of this
for the stuff
thing,
that he was saying it would have.
So who knows what the price of this fucking thing is going to be. But you know what? If it is super, super pricey, I know a way that we can afford it.
I will get an OnlyFans because Bella Thorne made bukus of bucks this week.
Yeah, so supposedly she made $2 million in 2 days going out with it. initially, before it launched, they were projecting that she was going to be making $1 million a month on average. And everybody was saying, that's fucking crazy. So now she made $2 million 2 days. Now people are saying...
Wasn't it for non-nude photos too?
Nobody knows.
No, I'm pretty sure it said non-nudes.
It said non-nudes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, fuck. I think initially everybody was saying, who knows? But I guess now that
when you pay for it.
Right. No, I mean, I'm saying before she released it. But now that it's been released, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure it is non-nudes, but at a certain point, I think people will wise up and be like, we want something. We want a little more if we're going to be paying this and keep being your OnlyFans subscribers. But this is pretty fucking crazy. She did make an apology, I think, right?
She promised a nude photo.
Yeah.
That never materialized.
That's what I thought. I was pretty sure that there was something there.
Well, that's not really fair to the people. They spend their hard-earned money thinking that they're getting a nude photo of you, and then you didn't give them a new photo. Yeah, and basically people are complaining, rightfully so. I mean, don't lie. That's kind of shitty. Yeah. But people are complaining because she's ruined basically OnlyFans for other people, because apparently based on this $2 million that she made, they're going to change the way that people earn and get paid.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So can you imagine all the sex workers who've been using OnlyFans for a long, long time now? And this former Disney star, because that's who she is. She's a former Disney star, very mainstream. And then her break into something kind of indie was that she started directing some porn, and she actually she had one feature on Pornhub, and it was a directorial debut for her. So that was her risque move into something more indie. And then
from Disney. Yeah.
Right, from Disney. And then this was her big, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's doing this, and it's gonna break the internet, that kind of shit. So, yeah, I mean, this is fucking interesting.
I think she kind of owes her fans that paid
a
nude photo if she promised it. I mean,
she promised it, yeah.
I'm just reading news articles that said that. Right. I don't know what social media post she made that promised this.
Right.
But if she did, she owes them a nude photo. And that's pretty shitty that they're going to make now new changes for all of those people that have their own OnlyFans, especially like the top people that have worked. Well, they all work hard, I'm sure. But, this is going to drastically change the way that they make money and may change them having this as an only job.
Yeah. And a lot of people are using this as their only job because of the current situation at hand. So to take sex work seriously, because it is a serious industry that it is a substantial amount of money, and many individuals do this as like their full-time living. So she seems to be like responding to it and saying, P.S. This is a quote.
She's
from her
saying
Twitter.
She's sorry.
Yeah, she's saying, P.S. I'm meeting with OnlyFans about the new restrictions to find out why. This is fucked up, and I'm sorry. Comment any ideas or concerns you want brought up to OnlyFans, and send me your links and pic so I can promote you guys. So I'll give her this. I appreciate that she is acknowledging that she's at fault for these restrictions, because she could have easily said, like, this isn't my fault. They made this decision. That's up to them. Easily. But she is standing up for it, which I can appreciate that. So I'll defend her on that point.
Yeah, but
it does suck what happened.
If you promised a nude photo, give the people what you promised, I know with the pandemic and people losing their jobs over the past couple of months, a lot of them have moved to OnlyFans as their main source of income. So yeah, that's pretty fucked up. So hopefully OnlyFans doesn't screw over a lot of people with these changes and realize that she's an anomaly because she's a famous person.
Yeah. This reminds me of something a comedian, and I can't remember which comedian talked about this, but it's a comedian that is close to, I think as he said that his ex-girlfriend was a stripper, and so he would go out to strip club events with her, and he was saying that it was actually really sad because nowadays there are influencers out there that aren't even strippers. They're just, take a picture, promote things like that, influencers, and they will actually go over and take over the strip clubs, and the full-time strippers will have their entire night decimated whenever those things happen. And he was giving an example of his girlfriend at that time who, she had a regular showcase on Saturday nights, and yeah, her entire evening was decimated along with the other strippers just because this influencer, who is not a stripper, decided that she was going to do a tease dance. And so everybody came out for that influencer. She did her little tease dance, and everybody gave all the money to her, and they didn't even pay attention to the strippers afterwards. So this kind of reminds me of that, and I thought about that story and was like, it's actually really sad. For if you're a full-time stripper, that's what you do, it's your career, and then people go in and the club that you work for goes out and decides to promote this influencer to just go in as publicity. It's kind of sad because you're affecting the other strippers. That's kind of how I feel about this.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Hopefully it'll get corrected so people don't lose out on, the money that they worked for during a hard time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, thank you guys very much. This is episode 9, by the way. So I appreciate anybody who has been listening to us, and we'd love to be able to get more interaction with you guys. So feel free to reach out to us on our social media
at WNF Podcast on Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on YouTube, and also on Facebook.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys being a part of this with us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Bye, everybody.